Hey peeps, I'm back. I'm back with an update on the whole cocky gate and bye Faleena type thing that's going on right now in the romance community. Because a lot's been coming out in the open over the last few days. So for those who know what's going on, some of this might be repeat. But I'm hoping there's some new information in here because there's definitely some new information that I've learned about it. I'll try and make it quick and short and not ramble, okay? So let's start with an author named Faleena Hopkins trademarked the word cocky. I understand that she has two trademarks for it. One trademark is in the specific font that she uses on her cover, which is, hang on, what's the font? Northwell font from Set Sail Studios. Okay, so she trademarked it in that particular font as a sign because that's what she uses as her brand and for discovery on her books. I kind of get that. I mean, I use the same font and lots of authors do, but we've never trademarked a word in that font or anything like that. And there's so many romance titles out there that have the same name. Most of us tend to work with each other. Like Shayla Black is a friend of mine, and we both have titles called Watch Me, and they're totally different. We didn't know that the other one had them. But you know what? You work together and you pimp each other's books instead of going after each other. You know, but not everybody thinks that way, obviously. So the one trademark is for the word cocky in that font, and the other trademark is for the word cocky, I do believe, in the use of a title of a romance series. Don't quote me on this. I'm just telling you what I've seen and heard. I am not a legal person, but I will link to my sources in the description down there so you can follow and read more legalese and stuff where people smarter than I explain the legal aspects of it. Okay, so she has the two trademarks. Now then she started sending out cease and desist letters to other authors saying they had to take down. She was giving them the opportunity to take down their book because it shares the title or uses the word cocky in it, and she has a trademark on it, and her lawyers, and she names her lawyers, have assured her that she would win all the monies if she decided to sue. So out of professional courtesy, she is giving this other authors opportunities to change their titles before she sues them. Now, a couple of things about the letter. In theory, it's nice. It's respectful to give people notice and to say, hey, you're kind of infringing on something that I have. Can you change it? But the wording of the letter and the fact that she wrote it the emails that she wrote by herself, not her lawyer. Her lawyer didn't send them, even though her lawyer has told her she'll win if she sues. And kind of make it iffy. And the fact that she says it's the Federal Trade Commission that has granted her the trademark, but that's not who actually grants trademarks. There's little things here and there that are really kind of setting people off. Never mind the fact that it kind of smacks of intimidation and basically trying to scare other people who might not have the money or the income to fight it. It seems like she's just trying to scare them into doing what she wants and not competing with her because she wants only her books to have the title. Now, her reasoning behind this, when she was asked about why she's been doing this, she's doing it to protect her brand, which we all want to protect our brand, but we don't mostly go that far. She was getting complaints from her readers that they were buying the wrong books because so many books had cocky in the title. Now, the problem with that is that most book covers and listings of the book on sale also have the author name on it. The other thing that kind of strikes me, using that as a defense, is kind of insulting to her readers and readers in general. And I'm quite surprised that, her readers aren't upset by it. Maybe they are. I don't know. I haven't heard from any of them. But if they want to comment in the bottom. I have no problems with that. Let's comment and get a dialogue. No flame wars and all that kind of stuff going on, though. Okay, I'm trying really hard not to be mean about what she's doing too, because I'm confused by the fact that, does she think she's honestly doing something in the right, or does she not care that she's way over the top and gone out of bounds and is is it a deliberate plan that she's just to get attention? Because I have to admit, before this, I'd never heard of her. And I know a lot of other authors and a lot of readers that have spoken up have never heard of her before, despite the fact that she has 18 books in this series. But now everybody's heard of her. So is that the whole point of all of this? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Okay, anyway, so back to some of the facts and the roundup here, okay? So she has these 2 copyrights. She's sending out these cease and desists, and authors are getting scared. A couple of them have changed their covers and stuff because they can't fight this. They don't know, and they don't. It's all a murky area for a lot of us. We don't understand the law. And the other thing that's funny is there is an absurd amount of authors and romance authors that are also lawyers who are speaking up. Even though they're not trademark lawyers, they're kind of like, they're the ones that are digging in and where we're getting a lot of our facts from. I have to for sure say, if you're not following Courtney Milan on Twitter, you need to be, because this woman knows her stuff, and she's very generous with sharing her opinions and information, and she usually knows what she's talking about. She calls it, so she's very informative and educated. Okay. So back to the trademarking. It turns out that the font is owned by a company in the UK. Now, here, let me read to you what Courtney says in her tweets, because she did a great summary of all of this. Okay, so actually, I should just read her whole thread to you. Hang on here. Let's start where. Okay, so her LLC registered trademarks to a word mark consisting of the word cocky written in the Northwell font, as well as the word cocky used on a downloadable series of ebooks. She then proceeded to send cease and desist notices to basically everyone who had a book with cocky in the title, including people who had published those books before she published her series. So that's a big no-no. Mark Whipple, he's the one I'm linking to in the bottom, has a lot of legal, where you can see a lot of the legal points. Okay, Courtney also has posted an example of the kind of cease and desist she is sending. The author who has posted it and shared it generously, so that we, as proof, is Jamila Jasper. Okay, so I'll link to this whole thread by Courtney in the bottom so that you can read what Courtney's got here. There's things about it, the legal stuff here. Attorney fees are not automatically granted. Where's the part that I wanted to read here? Okay, in any event, this is bad, and the law is not on our side, and the community is having fun with it, which we are, because as you'll see in my other video, I posted some covers that we've all done with, and honestly, some of us have talked about doing a cocky anthology and putting new stories in it, except that none of us have time to organize it. So if anybody out there actually wants to organize an anthology, you might be able to find quite a few romance authors who are willing to jump in on this, and who knows, maybe the profits will go to some legal fund or something somewhere. Okay. Okay, multiple people correctly identified the font she has trademark registration on and checked the terms and conditions of that font license, and it turns out you cannot use the Stillwell font to make trademarked items. Okay, so Courtney reached out to the designer on Twitter. He's on vacation, but he very nicely explained that no, she definitely did not have his permission to use the font in a trademark. He has not given the permission to anybody to use it in a trademark. And it's not permitted by the license that he sells. So this is where it gets really interesting. Watch this. Okay, I'm going to read from here because she words it really awesome. This is I'm reading from Courtney Milan's Twitter feed. And this is where I have to veer off the path and tell you something weird about intellectual property. IP gives you a right to stop others from using a certain property. It does not necessarily give you an independent right to use it. So for instance, you can get a patent on a new drug and the FDA can ban it. That's just tough cookies for you. Or you could write an entire book that divulges trade secrets that you acquired under an NDA and have a copyright in the book, but not be able to publish the book anywhere, which is too bad because there's an NDA. And weirdly enough, it is hypothetically possible to gank somebody's copyrighted art, get a trademark in it after using it repeatedly in commerce, and yet not legally have the right to use it yourself. You do not want to do this latter thing. Under no circumstances do you ever want someone else to own a copyright to your trademark. Hypothetically good due diligence before filing would prevent this. So maybe, for instance, if somebody copyrighted a word, they should have checked the terms of the agreement on the font they were using. And if they did, they would know that they can't trademark it. Right? Okay. So the actual way that this particular case would shake out is kind of weird, because an American copyright law is weird about font protection, as in it's not really that protective. But the font designer in question is in the UK, where laws are much stronger. Now, Courtney admits, I know enough that she knows, this is Courtney, I know enough to know that I don't know what country's laws would apply or what that would mean in this case. But it is very interesting that the person who owns the IP and the license to the font is in the UK. And that font cannot be used to make trademark items, yet Faleena got a trademark on it and is now threatening others for the use of the word. So Courtney says, but for the sake of our own hypothetical amusement, the font designer in question could possibly go to Amazon and ask them to take down the covers because she is using his font on them as a trademark, which is an infringement on his copyright. And then all of her books would have to come down. And her covers would have to be changed. She'd still use the word cocky, but not in the font that she has used to brand her series, which is what she's trying to protect. So those are the kind of updates so far. Kind of interesting, right? Now, RWA has gotten involved, and I will post the email address of RWA's lawyer in the description as well, because they are asking that anybody who has gotten these cease and desist lawyers from this author to contact them. RWA is very protective of things in the romance community, so that's a plus, and it's very helpful to members. Also, readers are getting pissed off about all of this and showing their support in wonderful ways, because this is the good thing about our community. Like I said in my previous video, it's kind of like a high school. You don't know everybody, and you don't want to know everybody, but when something happens, everybody knows. Now, we all love love. That's why we love romance books, and we love Happily Ever After, and this kind of thing. As much as you can blame it on romance peoples and high drama and stuff like that, this isn't the kind of thing that we really like to happen. And when it happens, we want to support each other. So there's places like Anna's Attic book blog that have been sharing posts on social media, on Facebook and everything, with lists of all the other books with cocky in the title and links to them to buy them. Because if it's a marketing stunt and it's just so that everybody starts to know this author's name, we want the other authors, everybody wants to support the other authors and show that this kind of stunt isn't going to pay. It's the kind of situation that really makes me hope and pray that karma is watching and is real. Because if she's doing this with the intent to deceive and intimidate, then she deserves everything that comes her way. And more. Now, rumor has it, I just got home from the day job, so I haven't really searched all of this. I just heard rumor of it, that a lot of her readers don't like what's happening to her because she has stated that the community talking about this and maybe having fun with it with some covers and stuff like that started a couple of days ago is online bullying. So she is claimed to be bullying by all of us, and her readers are getting upset, and rumor has it that her readers have gone out to a bunch of these other books on Amazon that have the word cocky in the title and started one-starring them. Now, if this is true, this fucking pisses me off. Because reviews are supposed to be there to help sell a book or not sell it. I don't care if it's a bad review, if it's about the book. It has to be about the story, not about the author. I do not, if I knew people that were going over to her book and one-starring them simply because of this trademark thing, that would piss me off just as much, because that is not right either. Reviews are sacred. They should be about the book, not about the author, not about the author's personal life, not about anything the author is doing or not doing, not about being pissed off at the author or just loving the author because they're a nice person. They should be about the story, so that when somebody who hasn't read the story or doesn't know anything else goes to buy the book and reads the review, they learn about the book. And if one reviewer loves it and one reviewer hates it, that's fine. Reviews say everything you want to say, but keep it about the book. Keep it about the story. And if you don't like it, why don't you like it? Or if you love it, why do you love it? Or just say you love it. I'm not going to get in a rant about reviews. I think you kind of all got what I'm trying to get at here. Okay? So I'm just going to run through everything that I updated here. Courtney Milan, Twitter. Follow her. I'll link to her on the bottom. Anna's Attic Book Blog. Check it out. I'll link to her, and I will link to a bunch of books with cocky that I can find in the titles down below if you want to just do some quick supporting. RWA is involved. If you received any email or any kind of attention about it, then you should contact RWA and the lawyer. I will put her email address in the description as well. I'm also going to link to Mark Whipple's article, which contains a lot of the legalese, and he's been updating that as well. You should have lots of information there by people much more smarter and educated than me. I just report rumors and give my own opinion because I'm full of opinions. I think I've covered it all for this quick little update, and if any big news comes to light, I will share some more. Have a great day. Be honest. Be good. Don't piss off karma. Have a good night.